This is the Realty Classroom Podcast, episode number 177. How to be much more profitable. Are you a real estate agent who wants to turn your real estate job into a business without sacrificing your lifestyle, but you just can't seem to find the right plan or, hey, any plan to help you get there? Well, then you are definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the Realty Classroom and the host of this podcast. Now, to help you take immediate action to get started in the right direction, I've created a free jumpstart course for you that's waiting at freeagentgift.com. That's freeagentgift.com. Okay, let's get started. In this episode, I want to talk about how to be much more profitable, not just a little bit, but much more profitable. And again, today I'll be speaking from experience. This is the way that I transformed my own personal book of business and continue to do so. So the first point in this, and this is pretty cut and dry, straightforward stuff, and it's very, very, very much the part of what I coach at the highest level at the Realty Classroom, our mastermind level, but it is amazing how simple this will be for you all to understand, but how difficult for you to accept and actually take action. So let's get into it. The first point is you must, and it's going to sound like I'm stating the obvious because I am, you must focus on acquiring more listings, period, paragraph. In Michael Gerber's book, I was challenged by a theme that kept coming up, Michael Gerber being the author of the E-Myth, the entrepreneurial myth, that we should start by saying, how does the business really work? Meaning any business. In that context for us, the real estate agency business. How does it really work? Well, without listings, it's a mess. Without the MLS, the place to put them, it's a mess. So we have this marketplace called the multiple listings service, and we have these listings, which is just an indexed, look at a property for sale that can be indexed inside this multiple listing service along with all this other information about listings. It's a marketplace, period, paragraph. It's just like what happens in the stock exchange where there are all these companies whose stocks, whose equities are listed for sale. And you can go there and you can search and you can look and you can decide what you want to do. You want to buy any of this stuff? Well, there it is. It's all listed. So it all works the same economic way. It's the same machine. So then that begs the question, how do you get listings to put them into the MLS? Who gets listings to put them into the MLS? See how simple it is? So the minute that you push back on this, especially if you're newer to the business or you just make the assumption, I'm going to start with buyers because it's easier because your manager told you that or somebody that never really went after listings told you that. Well, I get it. And that did the same thing. I just started talking about real estate, and every time I heard somebody talk about it, I would slam my business card in their hand. I'd get into a conversation, and a lot of them were looking to buy. So I also naturally fell into really accumulating buyers. And what I had no idea about yet was time leverage. It didn't matter to me. When I got into this business, I needed to make money. It was a new career, and I had two little kids at home and, mouths to feed, and off we went. And we just went to work, and I didn't think. I wanted to be strategic. I looked around the industry for a business plan. I had no idea who Michael Gerber was at the time. I hadn't even chosen a mentor yet who had already figured some of this out. So I was really feeling my way around in the dark on this. And that's really a shame because had I simply understood the business better, not only does it work through listings, but you have to choose this geography within which you want to do this, right? So if you really lock down on the geography and you focus in there and you really start to understand, okay, there, within that area, maybe I live there, maybe my office is there, but I'm not going to go far away unless I actually physically go to an office every day and I just want to live somewhere else. But you have to make that choice of where are these listings that are acquirable by you and anybody else, right? The next point there, though, I want to get into it, and I'm starting to lead into that, is that once I refined my geography, because by the way, I made a big geography mistake in the beginning too. Not only was I just hoping that buyers would come and maybe they would get listings. I mean, I got a lot of listings, but I got them mostly by accident until I learned a little bit more about marketing to magnetically attract sellers. And I did that with big display ads in the Cape Cod Times in Massachusetts, and it was a lot of money, and it was spreading me out geographically all over the place. So now what I realize is, okay, that wasn't even a good medium within which to market because it was spreading me too thinly and I wasn't using methodologies to focus on the acquisition in my own town, where I lived, where my office was. I mean, it just didn't make any sense now that I look back at it. But the next thing was really, because this podcast today is about how to become more profitable. So yes, the listings will help you because the leverage in listing is amazing. Once you put it in the MLS, every buyer's agent who has a buyer goes to work for you if they're interested in your listing. Let that sink in. Okay. You get that incredible leverage of getting help 88% of the time in my marketplace and all the marketplaces I've studied. It's not too far off of that number. It's one brokerage to the next and one completely different agent to the next 88% of the time. So when you get that listing, the power of the multiple listings sharing, right? Sharing listings through that marketplace, it allows agents to go out and help you sell it and match their buyer with it. Now with the internet syndication, the buyers see it directly and typically call their agent. So awesome, right? What a setup. What a setup in the digital age we have now. But herein lies the next issue. Okay, so you get smarter. You refine your geography. And a lot of you will ask me, well, how do I know if it's too small? How do I know if it's too big? What I typically look for and coach my mastermind clients is to say, look, start with about 500 to 1,000 transactions, meaning sales, okay? Not sides, sales. Because you can 2x the sides. But when you look at the sales and you have about 500 to 1,000 listings, you don't need too many of those to begin with in that geography to start to become really successful. But of those 500 to 1,000 listing sales sides, right, meaning the list side, what is the median or the middle price? You want to know that number, and you can figure out the mean too. Now, the mean typically scales a little bit higher because most markets have some sort of luxury. In my two marketplaces, Boston and Cape Cod, we have ultra luxury, and some of the people that I coach have ultra luxury. So there is that possibility that the mean or the average sale price in those 500 to 1,000 you choose is higher than the median, but the median's a really good number for the business mind and the profit mind. Because I'm going to tell you, and I am not knocking anybody. I did business at all price ranges. And if somebody comes to me or finds me to this very day, I don't care what their property's worth. If they really genuinely want my help and my professional guidance, and they're willing to listen to me, and they have a real reason why they want to sell the property, and they have a very high motivation, I will absolutely serve. It's a privilege to have the license, and I will serve. But as a business person, I am not going to target less than the median. I might, depending on what marketplace it is, cheat a little bit below it. For example, in the areas that I cover in downtown Boston, from a profit standpoint, they're all price ranges up there have gone so high. It's all relatively profitable, but still my discipline is to be the most profitable that I can be per transaction, right? Now, again, a lot of you will, when you hear me say luxury, I refer to luxury as median or middle sale number. So let's say it in Boston, I know exactly what the number is. It's 999,000 at the moment. That's the median number. And on Cape Cod, it's way high for what it has been. It's 619,000. Those are middle numbers. Now, what's crazy, listen to this about mean. In Boston, it skews up to 1.5 average, all that ultra luxury. And on Cape Cod, it goes from a median of 619 all the way up to 8. Well, it's varied now. It's even in the 9s last month, but 876. So you see that ultra waterfront luxury on Cape Cod can really skew the mean up higher than the median. So there I have it. I know now, and you see how I said very crooked numbers, meaning I didn't round it, 600, 900. I don't do that. My subconscious business mind does not want me to do that. It wants me to be specific. Because the more specific I am, the subconscious and everything that I learn and know about the business goes to work for me. It becomes very organized, especially when I go to sleep and I'm thinking about solutions. Well, how do you get more listings at 619 and above, at 999 and above, right? How do you get them? And it begins to think about how I do this. So I have a geography. In my case, I have two very specific geographies from my own book of business. They're very narrow now in their geographic scope where I start. And I focus on the median above. And next, I have to really key in on two words that have become real. Well, it's really a word and a term. Why? Why is that median and above person thinking about selling? Why? What's their reason? Because in my experience, if they don't have a real reason, they're not very highly likely going to listen to me. They're not going to understand that I have a very clear plan and I'm executing this plan, and they can trust me to follow that plan, and I will educate them in that. But if they don't have a real why, I just don't matter that much to them. So I don't have the focus. I don't have the intellectual or academic focus I need to differentiate myself. The next piece of it is, it's not going to be an easy ride just because I have a plan. So I need to also know how motivated they are. Follow me? So I have two things. Why are you doing this, and how motivated you are? And one of the best ways to figure out motivation is simply ask, how motivated are you to sell this property based on that why on a scale of 1 to 10? That is one of the most amazing clarifications that the brain can get is the question of, on a scale of 1 to 10, no matter what you're thinking about doing. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to want to get married in the next 12 months, right? Want to join the soccer team? Want to join the drama club? It gives you a chance to go into your brain and really focus. Why am I motivated to do this? I have a why. I think I'm passionate about it, but am I motivated enough yet? And in our world, we believe that you must be a 9 to 10 before you really are ready to list the property, because you're going to have to probably take some tough advice about price. You're probably going to have to take some tough advice about staying unemotional. Getting staging when you don't want to, whatever. There are myriad things that will come up that if you're motivated, you're going to fight through your frustrations and your pushbacks with us. So those things are the keys to prospecting high quality listings. So let me repeat point number 3. Why and how motivated are the two keys to prospecting high quality listings. And so in my world now, and this is very clear in my own book of business and what I coach and what I'm trying to share with you, is that we obviously have to get in a lot of conversations. All of us, you, anybody. When new agents join the Griffin, the first question is, okay, now what? Now what is, take a copy of our market update that we produce every month for the greater markets that we're in, greater Boston, greater Cape Cod, or just Cape Cod. We even do now a national one, and be able to engage in conversations about how the market is. Oh, you live in the area? Yes. Oh, that's great. I'm a realtor. Boom. Now you begin to pull out of them. Oh, really? What do they typically ask if they're interested in carrying the conversation on? How's the market? Funny you should ask that. Last month in Boston, it was very interesting. We ended at an average price of 1.5, and the median was 999,000. But it is also still only 2 months worth of inventory, where it used to be only 1. So it's still tight inventory. So for sellers, it's pretty strong. Why? Were you thinking about selling? Or were you thinking about buying? You see, now all of a sudden I'm in a potential prospecting situation. So no matter what the venue is, if it's a formal one like I was at today, and I'm sitting there, having these direct buyers come in, wealthy buyers at the one I was at today, am I really prepared to prospect them? Am I really prepared to turn them into a conversation where now, beyond how's the market, I see that there is a why they want to move. I see that there's a motivation, and I can begin to send them more information, and I can take credit for being the one that's curating, organizing, and saving them time. These people are busy. So that whole prospecting relationship now becomes everything to me, because if I'm going to get a steady flow of these median and especially mean and above folks, I need to be serving a not so big list either. If I get median and above, and especially some real luxury, and I serve them by continuously giving them market updates on the regular, monthly, if I send them automatically using MLS tools, updates of what's sold in the price range they're looking or they want to sell. So I have a sell, a sell buy today. So I need to give them stuff that is similar to their property so they can see what their neighbors get for that kind of property or what the buyer would pay for this kind of property. All that's MLS information that can come to them in real time. And then ultimately my seller tip series, which is predicated off of my seller plan. And now if we just put the right Goldilocks touch on them, okay? We don't want to jump after them too much. We don't want to be too soft. We want to be just right based on their timing, right? Now, that's how you build a queue of prospects who are being served at a high level for you, from you, right? Not leads. You're all obsessed with freaking leads, too much so that you don't even consider how you're treating these prospects because this is your profit lining up. You can begin to predict it. You can begin to guess how much their property's worth. You can begin to guess what kind of commission rate you think you'll be able to achieve with them. And that's a predictor of profit. At least it starts with revenue, but you know that on a per transaction basis, oh my gosh, when you can see high end, let's say it's $1 million at 2.5 apples, 3 apples, whatever. Now you can see $25,000 potential. You can see $30,000 potential. Now all of a sudden you're seeing revenue in these gobs and these big, I know some of you listening might not be there. You might be in a 200,000. The average, by the way, national average, if I recall correctly, just went up to about 340 and change. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the crooked number because I just saw it briefly. But let's just say it's 300, 400, okay? Whatever it might be, you're in a 400,000. Okay, but you might be able to get 3 apples in your marketplace, 4 apples. I don't know. I have to say apples because price fixing. There's no such thing. Duh, right? Everything's negotiable. But let's just say you're staring at $12,000, okay? So maybe you need more prospects than I do to get there, right? Great. But you're beginning to build this prospect list and you're serving it at a high level. So that lastly, the last point in this podcast today is if you serve those prospects and then when they become a client at a high level, okay, now you're really talking to them in depth. You've been giving them information, but now it's go time. So now you're telling them, okay, we did this, we got off our butt, we did the open house, here's the feedback, here's the adjustment, here's what's going on. These people will reward you, presuming that they had a real why and a high motivation, they will reward you with trust. So that over time, that high level of motivation, they begin to listen to you. Look, we're close, but we're just not close enough. This asking prices, it's thwarting us from getting some some offers here. So let's look at what else we're losing to. I've had it for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. This is what went pending while we were there. This is what sold while we were there. And you can see some of them are better. So we need this tweaking. So if you're serving all along, especially in a nice relationship at prospect level, you birth them into this relationship of trust at client level where they will do what it takes to help you get it sold, and then they're happy, and you, my friend, are profitable. Okay, let me go back and summarize this. How to be much more profitable in your real estate business, even if you're new. 1, focus on acquiring more listings. 2, focus on listings that you can acquire at and above the median or middle number. You can look at the mean too, which is the average. So if you took 1,000 homes that sell in the marketplace last year, look at the middle number and start trying to get the listings to the right of the middle number, meaning the high end. 3, why and how motivated. Those 2 questions are the key to prospecting high quality prospects. Not everybody's a high quality prospect. They have to have a real why and they have to have a 9 out of 10, right? Somewhere around a 9 to 10 out of a 1 to 10 scale, motivation somewhere inside the next 12 months, or they're just not going to be good clients. And ultimately, if you just think about really serving your prospects and obviously your clients at a high level, you will be profitable. Let me summarize it this way. I remember when I started in the real estate business, hearing that you had to list to last. I kind of thought it was corny, but turns out to be pretty true. However, in some strange way, I kept fighting that mantra and focused heavily on buyers. And when I fought it, it was just buyers felt easier to me, and was I wrong? But as my perspective grew, I realized that by focusing on the acquisition of listing prospects first, not the listing, got to acquire listing prospects first, at or above the median price, I could become much more profitable. And I mean much more. Now I build systems to ensure, listen to this one closely, that regardless of the economy, I'm certain I have a lineup of real listing prospects that guarantee a profitable business, right? Because I can predict that revenue because I know they're going to list and I know they're going to be loyal to me at that point, and they keep now becoming steady regardless of what's going on out there, because regardless, they have a why and a motivation. All right, remember, you can take immediate action to get started in the right direction with our free simple business plan that's waiting for you over at freeagentgift.com. Also, don't forget, you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen. We also broadcast our live telemarketing training calls on Facebook and YouTube every Friday at 1 o'clock EDT. So remember to turn on our page and channel notifications for the Realty Classroom, and you won't miss the reminders. We'd also appreciate it if you would share our content with other real estate agents just like you so that they can get some help too, okay? But remember, we sign off the same way all the time. Nobody's coming for you. Absolutely nobody. So go get to work on your own business, and we will see you in the next episode to try and help you do just that. Thanks again.